Hey out there, legal warriors. How do you fix a missed court date? Did you miss a court date? Are you just interested in this area of the law? If so, stay tuned because this is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Lynnwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years. We're putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people will get the help they need. Now just jumping right into it. What happens if somebody misses a criminal court date, right? A criminal court date, if you miss one of those, what happens? Well, typically what happens is the court issues a warrant for your arrest. And what is a warrant for your arrest? What does that mean? It means that the court has told law enforcement to find you and arrest you and put you in jail, so the court will hold you in jail while your criminal case is proceeding. Now, when the court issues a warrant, it's usually not a permanent thing. There's an amount of money listed on the warrant where you can post that much money to try to get out of the jail. So if it's a $20,000 warrant the court issues, you can either turn yourself into the jail and stay in jail, or you can hide out and hope the police don't find you and it just stays at a warrant, or you can post $20,000 to the court or jail for them to quash the warrant, Q-U-A-S-H, not squash, and or you could go to a bonding company if you don't have $20,000. A bonding company will charge a fee for them to post a bond, which is a promise to pay the court $20,000 if you fail to appear in the future. And the fee the bonding company charges is typically 10% of the warrant amount. In a $20,000 case, that would be $2,000. Or if you have a private attorney, since you're a better risk, because us attorneys help you show up for court, then it's only 8%, in this case, $1,600. But what if you don't want to do that? You don't want to waste your money on that. You don't have the money to do that. What should you do? Well, the first thing you need to think about is, what court did I miss court in? And if you know the court, you're going to want to typically call the court and say, hey, did I miss a court date? Is there a warrant, and how much? So hopefully they're going to tell you that, and then you could either do one of those steps: turn yourself in, post the bail, get a bonding company. If you don't want to do that, turn yourself in, post the bail, get a bonding company, now what do? Well, you can ask them, is there a way for me to quash the warrant without having to post the bail? And they might tell you yes. As you've heard me say many times in the past, that law, especially criminal law, is very local. Actually, in the same city, there might be two courts, and they do things totally differently. Like South District Court in Lynnwood does things totally different regarding warrants than Lynnwood Municipal Court. Both are Lynnwood courts. Both have the same level of crimes, but they do it totally differently. So you can't trust lawyer Google about how it works necessarily. You want to try to either contact the court directly or an attorney who hopefully has experience in the area. But what might the court tell you? Well, for example, in the past in Lynnwood Municipal Court, and it may still be current, things change, if you had a bond or a bail amount less than $7,500, you could come in and sign and pay a $100 warrant quash fee, and they'd give you a new court date. Right? But if it was $7,500 or more, you couldn't do that. And the other Lynnwood court, South District Court in Lynnwood, there it was a little bit easier to come in and get on a warrant quash calendar, which were typically Monday mornings. And so things change and each court is different. So you're going to want to ask the court, hey, is there a procedure for me to take care of and quash this warrant without having to post bail? And it varies court by court and even case by case. Sometimes we'll look at a court docket that says, no recall. Sometimes we see that in Marysville cases. And that's based upon the seriousness of the case according to the judge, or a history of failing to appear. In other cases, it really varies. So if you are going to go in to sign for a new court date, we get a lot of questions. Well, I'm going to be arrested. Will I be arrested if I come in? Are they just trying to trick me? Well, I can't give legal advice here. I can talk about experience. Experience is no. The court has no interest in tricking somebody to arrest them. They're not trying to make more work for themselves. Now, if you get pulled over on the way to court, the officer will probably arrest you, because that's what a warrant is telling them to do. But at the courthouse, if they're having you sign for a court date or pay some small warrant quash fee, that's the procedure. In the most part, I think I would consider that legitimate. So what if it's even worse, Lance? What if I don't even know where I was supposed to go for court because it was a hard time and I think I probably should have been at a court? I don't know who to call, and I don't want to call. What do I do then? Well, there's really no centralized database where you can look up and see if you have a warrant. While there is a way to look up and see if you have court dates on the Washington court system, right, which is available on the internet, I know of no way where you can go see if you have a warrant. A lot of people say, can you see if I have a warrant? So what you need to do in that situation is you need to contact a defense attorney. If you describe what happened to an experienced defense attorney, they're going to be able to figure out a pretty good idea of what has happened. Is there a warrant? Where would it likely be? And the defense attorney may be able to check certain parts of your criminal record and then dig deeper and see by looking at dockets and things like that if there's a warrant. They hopefully will be able to tell. Public defenders have access to a different court system. It's called JABS, and that system is going to flag warrants more easily. So if a private attorney can't figure it out, and you have experience or a relationship with a public defender in the past, let's say, they might be able to easily click through and tell you what's going on. Likewise, if you're really kind to a court clerk on the phone, they would have access to a system that may also suggest whether or not you have a warrant and where. But if you can't figure it out, those are the steps. Defense attorney may be able to figure that out for you, or even the court in some cases may be able to figure out if you have a warrant. So if you have that missed court date on a criminal matter, it's important that you don't panic. It's really important that you don't just forget about it and try to hide out from it, because it's likely at some point you're going to get arrested. In some cities, they may have the officers come knocking on your door, for example, because they get credit for the work they're doing when they're going out serving warrants on people. That's a law enforcement job, right? And the most common thing is you're driving around minding your own business, you get pulled over for a traffic infraction, and now you're getting arrested. Your car is getting towed, you're having all these expenses just because you sort of couldn't figure out or you didn't want to deal with it. So it's important to try to deal with it if you can. And there's a few other little pointers out there. If you've got a really big warrant, a really expensive warrant, it's even more important then to contact an attorney to see if there's anything that can be done to change that amount, to get on a quash calendar, because the consequences of paying that money to a bonding company are a lot bigger, because again, you don't get that money back. So I hope you found this useful. If so, please like and please subscribe. And more importantly, if you're in trouble, feel free to give my office a call. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years. We'll listen to what happened, we'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.